Well. We're going to get this thing started in a second. But before we get this thing started, go ahead and click that like and that subscribe button in YouTube. We getting ready to get this thing crunk, baby. I'm taking it old school. Yeah, I said crunk tonight. Braves got the dub. Falcons didn't take the loss. But hey, I take the tie right about now. But without further ado, let's get to it. Birdcage is in the building. You already know.
Okay, y'all, this is it.
What's going on? What's happening, everybody? Welcome. I ain't gonna call it the party line. This is the learning lesson line because young team with some vets, but the backups or whatnot, they gave it up at the end and found a way to let those guys back in. But hey, the best part about it, we didn't take a L. We ended up tying it, and we see that we went down with no hesitation. Some good plays by Logan Whiteside. But before I get into everything, you already know how it goes. I got to bring in my right hand partner, my main man, Killian K Dub Worthy, better known as always Clutch. What it do, Clutch?
What it do? What it is, Bird K. Glad to be in the building tonight. Glad to get the tie that we got tonight. I mean, it was good to see where everybody come out, but we're going to get into it shortly.
Yes, sir. And the crazy part about this whole thing is looking at it, penalties killed us tonight. Let's be real. Because some of the penalties we had on ourselves, but then let's look at it and call it for what it is. There were penalties in this game that literally shouldn't have been called. Just like at the end of the game where Logan Whiteside put that ball in the perfect area, that DB was draped over him like a flag on a soldier's casket. You know what I'm saying? Let's just be real, dog. And that should have been a touchdown at the end of the game. So, I look at it like this, man. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. We shouldn't have put ourselves in that position and allowed those guys to come back into this ball game. That's how I feel. How do you feel about that one?
I mean, everybody played hard. I mean, just it's a preseason game. I feel like we made some kind of coaching mistakes and too many penalties that were created in this game. That's what I seen. So we got a lot of correcting to do in the off season. I mean, not in the off season, but the rest of this training camp and through the rest of this preseason. So we got some things that we need to work on. But I've seen a lot of bright things that we've been talking about on the Birdcage all off season and leading up until this preseason. I've seen a lot of bright spots. So it's a lot of positives in my mind. It's a lot of things I can see that we need to clean up on, but I see a lot of bright spots as far as players' positions that are going to be getting taken and new upcoming guys on the roster that we brought on the roster that's going to probably make the team.
Most definitely, most definitely. And looking at it for what it is, man, we definitely got a lot to clean up before the season starts. Carolina took a loss tonight, so I'm okay with that. Bryce Young didn't play well at all tonight. He lit them Giants got after him, and I'm looking at it like, okay, well, let's be real. When you look at how the Giants got to it, they ended up putting a lot of pressure on that kid. And I'm looking at how our defensive line is, and I really feel like our defensive line can be in a situation where they are going to put pressure on that guy and make it very hard. Because here's the thing, you're not going to get pulled after a bad series. You're going to have to finish that one out. And I think the Falcons are going to end up being on this thing here. So I see we got Artavius in here. Artavius, I can't bring you in unless you have your camera on, buddy. You got to have your camera on for us, dog. That's the only way we can bring you in because we're trying to have it to where everybody gets to see everybody's face. It's a family friendly show. Ain't nobody. And now, if you got warrants, I'm gonna tell you right now, don't show up. I ain't got nothing to do with it. Don't show up. But let's get to it though. How do you feel Taylor Heineke performed this season?
Well, I feel like Tyler Heineke. I can't say the first name, but Heineke played a little subpar to me in my mind. I would give him like a C minus. I really like Woodside. I would make him the number two right now, just based off the first two games of the preseason. I just like what Woodside has to offer as our backup. Just my opinion going forward is the first two preseason games that I've seen. But that's just where I feel like the competition is right now. I could be wrong. We'll see what the third preseason game comes to fruition and see what happens in those results.
I agree with you on that. And I think when you look at this defense, and we're gonna start bringing people in because we want everybody to come in here. Because this is the part where we say, like the original slogan is not going anywhere. This is a show for the people, made up by people's opinions. It's just you either get right or you get left. And when we say you get right or you get left, we got to get you right by putting your face on the camera so everybody can see you because you're a part of this Falcon family, baby. So not just my man Octavius. I was just busting his chops. But anybody that wants to come on here, we posted the link in StreamYard, and we're actually working on getting that posted in our Falcons Nest group as well. We posted it in Dirty Birds there, but we want to hear from everyone about what went down tonight and what do you expect and what are your expectations. And one of the guys I'm gonna speak highly on is DeMarco Hellams, man. One of our guys who comes on the show. Um, I got to give it up to Chris Holloway. And as Holloway stated before, Holloway has stated that DeMarco Hellams was going to be the steal for us. And he definitely has become that because two interceptions in both games, made some key plays in this game here. And then last week he led the team in tackles. So when you look at it, we've got some pieces because I'm gonna tell you right now, if Richie Grant don't get his stuff right or whatever, we got his replacement right there. We got his replacement. Jalen Hawkins will probably end up switching to being in the slot or whatnot if Clark Phillips III isn't 100%. So we have rotation pieces in the secondary that pretty much could be starters everywhere else. And like my man Truth Be Told says, we got to clean up penalties. So Artavius, man, looks like I'm gonna bring you on. Can you, Artavius? What's going on, man?
What's up, brother?
Shoot. So talk to me, bro. Long time no see, man. Let's get it.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, that was a good game, man. But those penalties is what hurt us, man. Bijan looked good tonight, man. Desmond really looked
Mm-hmm.
sharp. As far as the second half, the defense they let up a little bit in the fourth quarter, but man, overall we got a good thing going, man, and I hope we keep going.
Most definitely, most definitely. And so, how do you feel about Logan Woodside being the number two over Taylor Heineke?
Hey, man, he looked sharp tonight, man.
He was sharp
Very
last
sharp.
week too.
Yes, sir. I'd take him over Heineke right now, bro.
I like Heineke because he has experience, but I'm not gonna put him in that number two spot.
Yeah,
I gotta put Logan Woodside in that spot because you got to remember Heineke's coming from Washington. He's learning really a new offense. This is a totally
true.
different offense that he's learned. So he might not be comfortable in the offense yet. I'll give him that. But at the
True.
same time, we got a good. I see why Arthur Smith brought in Logan Woodside knowing his system and actually being a guy who is experienced. And we pretty much have seen what this guy has done so far. You know, I like his ball placement. Now, the only thing I didn't like was he took that sack. He should have threw it away trying to do too much at the end of the game.
True.
Did too much.
True.
And the defense has to understand you can't give up the draws like that at the end of the game. That's when you
True.
got to. That's when you got to put on. That's when you got to put on the virgin belt. You can't give it up. You got to put it on. You got to lock it up, throw away the key, and run away. That's what you got to
True.
do with it. You can't just give up the draws like that at the end and hope that your offense will have time, because if you're playing against an experienced team like a Kansas City when we play them, or when you play against a Philadelphia in the playoffs, or you play against, teams that have veteran quarterbacks who know how to eat up the clock and pretty much put their teams in positions to win ball games, we have to close out games. We were fortunate to kick that field goal, but we got to start closing out games.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, we had a Facebook user that said Richard Grant's gonna be okay. I say this, man. I'm on the fence with him. He ain't I'm still on the fence with him until he learns how to play pool, take good angles when he's hitting these running backs, making secure tackles. When he hits, he needs to wrap up, or even being in a position to where he uses his outside leverage to play the pass a little bit better. I don't trust Richie Grant. DeMarco Hellams comes from a system where Nick Saban was hands-on, and you look at all his safeties and DBs that's in the league right now, because partially Kirby Smart had a hand to do with that too. So let's be real. When you get a polished cornerback and a safety out of that Alabama program, you know that you got somebody that's fundamentally sound.
Yeah, man. Helms look like he can take Richard Grant's spot right now, bro.
Yeah, I mean, Richard Grant may be on the team, but I feel like he's going to be kept possibly as depth. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like Helms is making an impression upon the coaching staff where he needs to be starting. I mean, he's looking like a steal where we got him in the draft right now so far.
Well, I mean, I get where you're coming from with that, Killian, but we gotta call that for what it is, dog. When you come back into a situation to where you're here, you're a vet, but you've been here for more than 3 years, it's time for you to make a jump.
Yeah.
It's time for you to make that jump.
I mean, I know that you're saying he needs to make a jump, but the key thing is it's so late in the preseason. That's still so late in the as far as getting guys off the street. I mean, I feel like he knows the system. I mean, he could be used as depth, but I feel like Helms is going to take his job before week one starts.
Yeah, I think you froze.
Oh, I froze up.
Yeah, for a split second you had froze up, bro. But I go ahead and keep saying what you were saying. You had kind of froze up for a second.
No, I was saying DeMarco Helms, I feel like he's going to make an impression. He's made an impression upon the coaching staff and the secondary coaches. It's the fact that he's going to be starting. I feel like Richie Grant has been kept around for depth because he does know the playbook. He does know the way that the coaching staff wants it to be played, but he's not cutting the mustard to be a starter. I mean, I'm just saying, he may get released after this season, but I feel like it's so close to, week one that I don't feel like they'll go back to the street trying to find another guy.
Well, here's the thing. When you have a guy that's been in this system that brings no value, and the only reason they would keep him is because of money, and they don't want to take a cap hit, I get it. It wouldn't be much of one, but still, because he's still, you know what I'm saying? He's not on his second contract. He's still on his first contract. But at the same time, you got people. It's just like you being a chef. You got cooks that know how to lead a kitchen by verbally telling the people how to work and do things. But when you put them in a situation to where they have to perform, some of their stuff doesn't come out as well. They're good at training, or they might know the book, but they're not good at putting things together on their own and on the fly. He's one of them dudes that might know the cookbook, but he can't cook.
I mean, that's there to be seen there. So we'll see what the coaching staff does with it. I just feel like he'll be kept around for depth.
And speaking of depth, we got to give a shout out to the Atlanta Braves for jumping out on San Francisco 40-0 tonight. I got the Braves jersey on, baby. It's ATL everything up in here. But let's just keep it real, man. It's a beautiful thing when you have all the teams in the city that's starting to actually click. You got the Braves, you got the Falcons. We don't know what the heck the Hawks are gonna do. I'm just gonna keep it real. Right now, that we'll wait till December to get that. But we got these Falcons right now that's putting us in a position to get excited for the season. Great bid.
I,
What's up, man?
What's going on, fellas? What's going on, fellas?
What's up, brother? What's up? What's up?
Hey,
what's your take, man? Let's go. Get in there, Great Beard.
uh, first home game for preseason, man. I kind of expected us to have some mistakes. But the penalties, man. Team penalty for 102 yards. Nah, man. That ain't gonna cut it, man. We had 10 penalties in the first half. Not, not good, man. Not good, man. You know, I know Austin Smith, we got definitely out and right. So, but first drive, man. First drive looked accomplished. I like the way Ritter looked. He looked poised. He looked comfortable. He looked comfortable. He really did, man. He didn't look like somebody who just got their first start or whatever, man. He had command of the total offense, man. He was really kind of read, you know. Tell him, man. Cave, man. He looked like he gonna be that dude catching stuff over the middle, man. Draco is Draco, man, and making nice catch, man. I like the way Kyle Pitts got active a little bit in the offense. I do agree with the historian, man. We gotta utilize John O. The man can be a mixed match nightmare, especially at red zone. But man, B John gonna be a problem. Be a problem in the offense. And had a speed acceleration, man. He hit the man. Hey, I'm still a little bit, man. I like the way the offense looked, just vanilla. But once we really, really get into the offense, the way it looked, I'm telling you, man, we're gonna be a defense. We still got some stuff we need to work on, but I do overall like hit the pressure that we're getting, especially with our front seven. The fact that we can still get pressure from 4 or 5 lines, really the testament. You know, Element is going to be started by week 1 or week 2. It's just what it is. Taking too many plays, and he's jumping off of it. Him and D Alfred, them two right there are really going to be the X defense, especially on the back.
I've been calling it I've been calling this since day one. And me and you talked about this when we got him. Remember, I told you I said it's 2 players in the secondary that remind me of legendary players. You look at Clark Phillips III, he was solid tonight. Clark Phillips III is a technician. I got to compare him. Like I said, I compare him to the great Aeneas Williams because Aeneas started off the same exact way like Clark, before he really garnered that respect. And I think what got him respect was he played on the defense that was mediocre, that just had him and Pat Tillman back there running that back in the day. Rest in peace to Pat Tillman. But when you look at it, DeMarco Hellams is the second, and I know this is big shoes, but I got to say it. DeMarco Hellams is the second coming of Steve Atwell. You see, he comes with the boom, and he's very smart. Oh no, I got to put it on him because here's the thing, and I'm not saying this just because of his 2 professional games. You go back and look at his footage in college. Same build, same mindset, same type of motor that he has. That's the reason why I say I would compare their games. I'm not saying that he's exactly like him, but their games are very similar in how they play.
Well, that's bold. I mean, I love it, but it's bold.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little premature. I mean, but I mean, you got to step out there on the limb. I mean, we're going to see what happens as the season unfolds into the next couple of seasons. So, I mean, the proof's got to be in the pudding for it.
Well, he actually right now,
and he's learning. And here's the other thing: he's learning under Jesse Bates. That's the other thing. He's learning under Jesse Bates. Shout out to my guy King Richie. Shout out to Mills 1967. Shout out to the magnificent BirdCage crew that couldn't join us tonight. Thank y'all for holding it down into the Dirty Birds lair and also Falcons Nest tonight, streaming the game. And also Atlanta Falcons 2.0. Thank you guys for allowing us to use that stream while we had some slight technical difficulties. We're just like the Falcons right now. We're working out a lot of the kinks right now. It's the off season. We're gonna have this thing rolling just like them birds, baby. I see 10 wins coming this season.
Still holding
That's
on.
just me.
Still holding
10 to 11 wins is what I've been guaranteeing, from the jump. So, I mean, I feel like we're on schedule. I mean, he's put a lot into Bijan. I've seen a lot out of Bijan tonight, but I think it's going to be what we've seen is a little bit from everybody. You've seen Drake London with a big catch. You've seen Pitts with a one-handed catch. I mean, you just seen a little bit of everything. So that's what you're going to see if that ball gets spread around. Some of everybody's making plays. You're going to see Captain Caveman be his chest. So, I mean, you're going to see a lot of things that are going to excite you. So, I mean, just get ready for it as a Falcon fan. The defense is going to be lighting them up. I like how we played in the secondary, the way they're coaching those guys to not get burnt and learn how to play the ball and be aggressive and go try to take the ball away also. With Helms, you're the story of the preseason right now, so keep running with it. 2 interceptions back-to-back in both games. I mean, keep making plays, young man. Keep making plays.
And one thing I'm kind of impressed with is Arthur Smith play calling. I like how he's mixing up the running the pack, intermittent pack, and getting and letting Ritter get rid of the ball. Ritter's not holding on to the ball, and if he don't keep nothing, he'll run for what he run for what he need, get out of bounds, still staying safe. So the man is just like I said, the man is poised to only have played 5 games in the freaking in the NFL right now, and that's gonna be testament to the offense going forward, man. So overall, even though we didn't get the dub, we got the tie. The defense up in the fourth quarter. Still like what I seen from the first team, especially on the offensive side of the ball, man. We look like we gonna problem for these teams, man. People been sleeping on off teams, but they got a small taste of what we can do, and that and
So,
even a fraction of our play.
and not to cut you off, buddy, but I gotta shout out Kendrick or whatnot. I'm gonna do a little something. See, this is what we do. Kendrick, you allowed me to share the game um with the group. You're in Atlanta Falcons 2.0. I appreciate you for coming through. Just because you did that, I want you to inbox me your address because I'm giving you the Birdcage official poster, baby.
Oh,
We got Draco, Troy Anderson, Desmond Ritter, AJ Terrell, Kyle Pitts, Jalen Hawkins, Tyler Algier, and Big Grady right there. And then we got Mr. Bijan Robinson. So, as I said before, man, I definitely appreciate you hooking us up. So I wanted to make sure that you knew that we got a little something. We're not gonna let you go empty-handed. So that poster is yours, homie. And if you want to get on to the chat, we already got the link in here. You can introduce yourself to the crew because we definitely are very appreciative of you also pushing the podcast over in Atlanta Falcons 2.0 for us, man. So that's just a little something for me to say thank you, brother.
I got a question. I got a question for the panel right now. All right, so seeing all the running back that we got, do you actually think Cordell Patterson is going to be in the back? I honestly don't think he's going to be in the backfield, and quite frankly, we don't need him. Number 42, name, looked pretty good tonight. I like how he runs. I like him running. And then if you could put Cordell back at position that pretty much at the slot. That should give so much dimension for offense. And I'm just saying.
Glenn, we having some problems with your mic, bro.
Oh,
You
for real?
cutting in and out
My bad. Can you hear me now?
perfectly.
All right. I was just saying, do you think Cordell Patterson, the third string running back, will be in the backfield?
Me
Well, here's the
personally,
thing: we already know Cordell's gonna probably play more receiver now, and you're gonna take the mileage off of his legs because you have not one, not two, not three. You have 4 capable running backs of carrying that load. You got Shawty Lowe who got in the end zone tonight, Mr. Carlos Washington, and then you have I have a hard time pronouncing the young man's name. Number 42. I'm gonna get his name right. Y'all work with me. I don't want to mess that up. And then you got Bijan, of course. and Tyler Algier. You got 4 running backs that can get it in. They're all different. It's kind of like snowflakes. All the snowflakes fall. They do the same thing. They melt. But if you ever catch a snowflake, if you ever been somewhere that's cold, and you look really close at a snowflake, they all have different shapes. They all have different formations. So each running back is like a different formation. If you want to be technical, so they all are different in their own way. Bijan is an all-around back. Carlos is more of a scat back that can go out of that backfield. He can catch pass, and he's got good speed to be able to get to the outside, and he's got size to go with it. You look at our ground and pound number 42. He's a guy that runs between the tackles hard, just like Tyler Algier. So you have 2 physical backs, and then you have 2 backs that can just change the pace of the game when they get on the outside, or they can make a guy miss in the phone booth. That's the type of stuff that we have coming out of this backfield. So Patterson, he's gonna get his plays, but I don't see CP being a guy that's gonna be an every down back like we had. We're gonna probably use him in the slot, and that's gonna be a mismatch in itself.
That's a good thing, though.
We're just going to use CP sparingly. It's going to be used like strategically in the run and in the pass game. He's going to really be spelled this year because of always getting hurt throughout the season. We have a lot more bodies that we can dispose of this year in the running game and in the passing game. So he's going to be kind of like almost a secret weapon on a pitch count with CP. But I think it's going to be his last year as a Falcon. I'm just being honest.
So Artavius, I want to ask you this question, man. How did you feel when you saw the 36-year-old granddaddy? I call him the big granddaddy because he's the old man of the crew. You got Calais Campbell that's gonna be 37 in a few weeks, running after a quarterback the way that he did at that speed, going to get him.
Hey man, if he's still able to ball, man, I say keep him out there, man. But I don't see him as a every down player. But having him here as a mentorship for guys like Grady and AK-47 and what's the other guy? D'Angelo Malone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As long as he's here for mentorship, man. That's a good thing to have, man, because I don't think we had a good mentorship since John Abraham, man. So and Dwight Freeney, man. So
I was gonna say, and look, I don't think Freeney really mentored Vic Beasley. I believe he took a lot of pressure off Beasley because even at old age, Freeney put the fear of God in an offensive coordinator, and they made sure that he was pretty much double blocked. And Vic Beasley, hey, you had him and Jonathan Babingham. Come on, man, him and Babs. And Babs in his own right was a hell of a defensive end back in the day. I miss seeing Babs on that outside. You see them dreads hanging out. He ain't nothing but an oversized predator. I miss seeing that come off the edge with an attitude. But these new guys, I expect a lot from. Like AK-47, I gotta see more from the guy. Gotta see more from him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He hasn't been showing up this preseason, man.
Yeah.
So
He just got to be more consistent. Especially, he'll make one good, and then he probably won't play until like the second or third.
Mm-hmm.
Has to be more consistent. That's for sure. But I think with having Calais Campbell here, man, it's gonna elevate Grady. But now he has enough.
Mm-hmm. And that guy Breon Borders is another guy that's gonna balance out this segment. He gonna have a job.
Oh yeah.
He's
Yeah,
gonna
I feel like he makes the
dude is
team.
solid, bro.
He makes the team. He's made enough plays in my eyes to jump off the page to where he'll be like the third to fourth DB.
I'm fine with that.
Oh yeah, dude solid, bro.
Did he come in?
So who do you feel is a guy that doesn't get talked about that you guys think that's gonna make this team?
It doesn't get talked about.
I like that guy.
Who's
Zay
made
Malone,
some
man.
plays and who's made some impact, and they don't get talked about much. Who do you guys think?
I like that guy Xavier Malone, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. And somebody and our
Okay.
Facebook user just mentioned Xavier Malone. He's hoping he makes the team. He just mentioned it. But
Okay, there
getting
you
back
go.
to his
So
comment, Josh Ali his he's starting to get comfortable with making these catches. He's starting to put himself in a position to where he can actually be that playmaker that we knew he was in Kentucky. I'm not giving up on the kid. The kid is solid. Once he gets comfortable, we already know. All I can say is I think the wide receiver core is going to be a lot better, and we got to see a little bit of Scotty Miller tonight too.
Dude,
I
man.
think
And
I think I think they got big plans for Scotty Miller. I mean, because you've seen so much of him. I think he had a nice little package of
I
speed
just want him
plays,
to
get
stay
to the
healthy.
outside. Yeah.
That
I
dude.
mean, you keep saying that. I mean, of course, there's everybody on this
I
team who
mean,
need to stay
but
healthy.
Kelly, but here's the thing,
Everyone.
but K Dub, here's the thing, bro. The man has had a rash of injuries to where it kind of like it's not as bad as Jeff Okuda, but he's getting close to that because he was like that in Tampa. When he was on the field, he was dangerous, but it was a nagging ankle here, a knee here, or you know what I mean. It was something with the guy, and he was a thorn in a lot of people's sides. But when he's not on the field, that was supposed to be Tom Brady's Wes Welker. Even though he helped him to win a Super Bowl, that was supposed to be his new Wes Welker because of the way that he played. He just had a little bit more speed than Wes.
Well, I hope he can be our Wes Welker. I mean, hopefully he just couldn't get it done with Tom Brady, but when he comes over here with DR9, he makes it happen.
Another
No, he got a ring with Brady. He got a ring with him. I just want him to be one of those guys, like you said, that can stretch the field where you put him in a situation where you got maybe a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 12, and you gonna line. Here's the thing: you don't have to line him up on the outside. You can line him up on the hash. He is a mismatch for a free safety or a strong safety all day. And because they're gonna be worried about Pitts getting open, or they're gonna be worried about Drake or Captain Caveman, Mac Hot. So for those who are just joining us for the first time, we call Mac Hollis Captain Caveman because of his hair and him walking outside barefooted.
this man literally walked barefoot. It been
Well, he from the country. What you expect?
like he
No,
lived,
they showed him walking barefoot before the game, doing pregame warm up, walking around barefoot.
like they like the field was his yard or whatnot. Like, yeah,
Man,
chilling.
hey,
Hey, I love it though.
man, that joke. That's why we call him Captain Caveman. He got them darn caveman feet.
Hey,
You out there walking on the Georgia. You out there walking in the Georgia heat on black pavement, black asphalt, barefoot. How much you want to bet he was one of them dirt? How much you want to bet he was one of them dirt dobblers back in the day? Y'all remember? Y'all remember back in the day? We all played tag in the street, football, basketball, and you got the one kid that's dirty as heck. He instead of taking the bath, he lick himself and he barefooted or whatnot, and literally can do it all barefoot.
but
I'm gonna be real with you. I think if we let the Joker play without shoes or whatever, I think he might end up getting 2 bills for a year, 2 stacks.
I
Let him
don't
play
care what
barefoot in the NFL.
I
I
don't
think
care
he get
what he
2,000.
do. He better just go touchdown. I don't care what shoes he wears. Just go touchdown.
and I
Hey,
like he can catch over the middle. That's one thing I do like.
hey, man. So any of y'all remember? Any of y'all old enough to remember the movie Necessary Roughness?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just making sure. So if y'all remember the Australian rugger or whatnot, he didn't like wearing pads. And hey, he played better when he didn't have pads on. Caught the ball, he took a shot, he held on to it.
Now
But
that
I'll be honest with you, I
the
think that might be our Captain Caveman right there. Let him take his shoes off. He ain't got to play with cleats. Let him play barefooted.
true, but that first game he got killed. But-
But getting back to the Falcons, though, the one thing that really impressed me that jumped out, I don't know how you guys felt about it. I gotta say, when the whole defensive line chased that quarterback down. These are the backups. Let's just be real. When you see three 300-pounders get off their blocks and they're running upfield to go get the quarterback, come on, man.
I mean, I
That
just like I just
That
like the fact
we
of
didn't have that last year. Come on, man. We know this.
no. What I'm saying, I just like the fact that when the backups come in, period, that they play with energy, they play with fire and desire, and they end up tying that game up. That's the
Yes,
key
sir.
thing. You know what I'm saying? That's the key thing because, in the preseason, they're not going to go into overtime, this, that, and the third. But you showed that tenacity, that forward, go get them mentality to make that play down the middle to Fitzpatrick to go get that first down. Man, that was big time in my eyes.
I
I
mean,
agree.
So,
yeah, I agree, and I think it's the attitude too, man. I think people really want to play for the Falcon. They didn't just come here for the check. They didn't come here just to ride out the end of their career or whatever. They actually want to play for the red and black. And like I said, that comes from the mentality, the attitude. We always talk about the culture change. We need to change the culture or whatnot. We looking at it right now. We looking at it on the field, man. The way they compete in the training camp. Everything is starting to come together little by little on what we want the football to be and the identity that we always. So man, I usually gotta take what it is. So we just need to keep be better at it, and have that building of history that we
very
want.
big. You might need to leave and come back and then come back in. Leave and come back in.
You sound
Uh,
like, hey man, he sound like Aquaman right now.
you sound like every
Hey
you sound
man,
like DJ Screw over there, chopping screws, baby.
he sound like a perfect anti-hate mixtape, baby. You know how I do. Them boys over there scrap. Hey,
Anti
how they say? Hey,
hate
how they say the house?
music.
Hey, how they say the house party? He said, get a little bit of that scratching and mixing going on. We can get busy. Hey man, I'm in my bed tonight, dog. I've been watching old school movies today after I got out work clowning, bro.
Hey, it is what it is, baby. Gotta keep it light, gotta keep it tight. Let's go.
Hey man,
Hey
another
man,
another
you
guy
already
that,
know what
that
it is. I think. Hey, go ahead, Tavis. I'm sorry.
another guy that stood out to me tonight, number 72, I believe, Matt London. That guy was
Ooh,
solid
that's a
tonight,
bad
brother.
man.
That guy was solid
That's
tonight,
a
bro.
grown man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, for sure. I
I
mean, a lot
think.
of people stood out, man.
Well, what do you? Well, I mean, a lot of people are standing out, but how many of these dudes are you gonna keep? That's the question. Because it seems like
Uh,
everybody want to be a part of this now.
I mean,
And
that
I,
yeah,
I think the
but
blueprint, and I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna let you jump on this one, Kid, because we talked about this off the record. I think the blueprint
mhm.
that's being laid for this defense with Ryan Nielsen, Jerry Gray, and Steve Jackson that's coaching that secondary. I think that blueprint is letting them know, hey man, Atlanta's not gonna be a wasteland no more. This ain't a retirement home. If you gonna come here, you better bring your lunch pail, your hat, and you better come ball because everybody on this team is physical, offense and defense. The one thing about football that ain't never changed and it never will change is physicality. You can never beat physicality. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we just turned up a new leaf. We were able to we were strapped for cash. We were only able to go get bargain basement players. So I mean, it's just a breath of fresh air that we're a real organization running like a real organization right now, not penny pinching. So we were able to go get guys. We were able to go set a new tone. I feel like there was a steal going to get Ryan Nielsen out of New Orleans. So I mean, I just feel like things are just coming to fruition now. Arthur Smith can really concentrate on opening his playbook up to full capacity and operating
Mhm.
as an OC like he really wants to. I mean, he's still the head coach, but I can really worry about my offense now because I got a coherent and a very good defense of coordinator that I hired and let him do his job.
And we got to shout out to Rise Up Nation. That's one of our Facebook users that's been coming up. He didn't click on the StreamYard link. I just happened to look over and I just saw a comment pop up. So shout out to Rise Up Nation. We see you. We see you. Appreciate you coming through and showing a little bit of love. We got to get y'all to start clicking that StreamYard link, man, because we want to recognize you guys that come in here and you guys give out great insight. We love putting out your comments. And just like my guy, Savage Life 1991 just said fundamental football. Yo, you can't beat it. It's simple and old school and adding speed to it. That's all it is. They're not doing anything flashy. They just pretty much are gonna beat you down. If your will is not like our will, you will not survive. Period.
Yeah, man. I mean, go ahead. Don't be scared. Go ahead and click that link, man, to come on in on that late night bird talk. You know what I'm
We
saying? So,
look, we ain't gonna eat. We ain't gonna cook you and eat you. You good? Now, if you was a Saints fan, that's a different story. If you was a baghead and you slide up in here and happen to get through the security or whatnot, that's your behind.
yeah, man. So we welcome all. We welcome all. We want to hear everyone's opinions out there that are listening. You don't have to be a listener. You can be a talker. You can come out here and say your spiel about what you've seen in the game, your analysis, just like Artavius has done and others can do.
Man, we've known Artavius for a while, man. He's been supporting us, before I put it this way. Funny story. Me and Artavius go back, and he started to come on when I started doing it by myself first, and then when I started, when Graybeard came along and he was helping me out, and then when K Dub came along too. And the three amigos, when we was kicking it in and getting it in and putting it out there, Artavius has been following us since day one, man. So we're like I
Oh
said,
no, I know
we're
that. I know that. I'm
oh,
just telling the people that are listening, to come on screen like he
I
did.
was telling the folks about the loyalty,
Oh,
man. We're
okay.
loyal to everybody that follows us and comes through. So, like I said, we always try to bring on everybody who's been here and even the new folks that are coming through. It's all love in here, man. We could agree to disagree. We might debate and get into a heated argument, but it's all respect on this end. That's all it is over here. We just want to root for the same team, but some of our opinions might be a little different.
And
But
to piggyback off what Killian said, man, the atmosphere with the Falcons has totally changed, man. Before before bringing in the new talent, man, we just had players here that act like they didn't want to be here, man. Since bringing Terry Fontenot in, man, him and Arthur Smith, they're putting players on the field that want to compete, man, and bring that competitive edge, man. Now we getting the players out that don't want to be here. Y'all got to go, man. Time to bring a winning culture to Atlanta, man. Time for us to win, man. Be on the right side of the ball, man.
and Ritter, and
I like that, man.
and Ritter is still undefeated at home. Think
True.
about it. That man ain't lose a game in 4 years in Cincinnati, and he hadn't lost a home game in Atlanta yet. Let's hope this trend stays up.
Facts, bro. Facts.
I
But
take
I
a
like
tie. I take a tie before I take a loss.
yeah, I like what
True.
Artavius is saying though. I mean, you got to make hard cuts, man. I mean, like you said, if you're not part of winning, if you're not playing winning football in this last preseason game, I mean,
Got to
Hmm.
it's
go,
it's
bro.
gonna it's gonna be easy. Just cross his ass out and keep moving.
Language.
Okay,
No, it's all. You know what?
party,
You know
a
what?
party
You know what?
foul.
No. I ain't gonna do that. You allowed a mulligan, man. All the kids should be asleep anyway. It's 11:20. You allowed that
Yeah,
mulligan, dog. You good.
I I apologize, BirdCage family and listeners and subscribers.
Hey,
I'll,
you
I'll take that on the chin.
we got our local security guard watching us right now. We
Uh,
got to
I
be.
mean,
Don't worry, she gonna get me for something I said a little earlier. I dropped one earlier too.
well, I do apologize.
We, nah, man. No, I get it, Savage Life. No, we're grown. We just try to clean it up because we want it to be a family show because we do have kids that subscribe and they also look at it and they're Falcon fans too. So we want this to be good for everybody. But off the record, one day we're gonna have an off the record conversation where we can all just let it fly.
Yeah.
But for the kids, we got to keep it clean.
No, I mean, we
But
talk about it. I mean, we talk about it. We talk about it. We try to keep it, very PG. You can articulate different words, but I got kind of carried away with the analysis of what I was saying and use some distasteful language. But it's all good, man. I apologize to everyone listening out
so we got so Savage Life 91 say we try to keep it PG-13. That means we can drop one every once in a while. Hey, so Kill. So here's a question I got for you.
there.
What
Yeah.
do you think about it's a backup linebacker that I saw tonight? dang, his name just slipped my mind. He was showing, how can I put it?
Oh,
He
oh, you
was
mean Carlos
already
Davis?
showing out last week. Yeah, yeah, Carlos Davis. That's his name, Carlos Davis. And the way that he made two back-to-back plays, but the thing that I loved and it impressed me, you can tell he's been around the league, and you can tell he was old school. You watch how he scraped and went
Mm-hmm.
downhill and was able to finish, and he was able to finish plays. So, what do you think about his game? I'm gonna let you jump on that, and I gotta let Artavius jump on that. I want to hear what you guys think about this guy's game because I think he's gonna add depth to that linebacker room because we already know a 17 game season is long. We're gonna need as many linebackers to rotate as we can.
I mean, I feel like he makes the team because that's one of the areas that I'm kind of weary about. Do we have the depth at linebacker? So I feel like if he's making plays, he'll make the team. We may scour the league and look for other guys to get released from other teams and bring in some other linebackers, or we may bring back Evans. I'm not sure, so we'll see what happens. At that linebacker spot. But that's one of the positions where I'm kind of like on the fence. Do we bring in more help and try to bolster it a little bit better? But we'll see what happens the next week or
Well,
two.
Artavius, what you think?
Yeah, I piggyback off that, man. I believe he'll make the team as well, man. I think losing Evans as well that kind of hurt the linebacker room a little bit, man. But I feel like him and the other guy, I think his name is Tay Davis, number 50. I
Yep,
believe those two guys
from
they
Cleveland.
can make the team, man. But
Well, Tay Davis has been
just
making noise since camp started, since we got him from Cleveland. And Tay Davis quietly is an unpolished diamond. I tell you that now. It's just we just have depth now. The question is he gonna get on the field in packages or is he gonna be a special teams guy? Because he's a very sure tackler. He's what we call he's a guy that comes with some pop. And when we say come with some pop, if he hits you, you know it. So I think Tay Davis is going to be another guy who adds a lot of value to that linebacker room with his experience and understanding how to be physical. And it's just beautiful to see us playing man to man coverage. We're not playing that BS zone coverage the whole time. We're actually seeing people pin their ears back and go get after the quarterback and go hunt.
What's crazy is mostly all of last year we are like, why are we playing this? Why are we playing this? But now we play a different style. It's like, oh my god, so refreshing.
Well,
And
we
they actually
playing.
making
Well,
us.
here's the thing: we're playing a 4-3. Right now, we're playing a 4-3 defense. We have some 3-4 packages, but it's mainly a 4-3 defense that we're playing. Because if you notice, they keeping everybody up on that line. We're not playing that that BS defense we were playing last year. We're actually putting beef on the line.
No, I mean I see the differences in what we're playing. I'm just saying it's refreshing to what we were playing last year. I mean that tell you that
Oh no, I'm
as
sorry.
avid fans. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, Killian. I forgot. I didn't put up the comment. I was responding to the Facebook user. That was on me. I wasn't commenting on you like that. I'm sorry, bro. I should have
Oh,
been a
okay,
little bit more
okay.
direct. No, no, no. I know
Okay,
you
but
know. He was just asking the question. I was answering that one for him. So I
okay.
apologize.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Facebook user. We get your name up there. We can figure out how we get you. I don't like that Facebook user stuff. So we got to get everyone's names up there, get you participating in the proper way so we can articulate your name and your comments the proper way, man. Just go ahead and get that StreamYard link thing and get that name in there, right? But yeah, man.
Of course.
But back to the defense we were playing. I just feel like it's so refreshing to have a defense that I think fits what we're trying to do and the direction that we're trying to go in. But I'm just saying, I just like the way he's called it. I mean, like I say, you got a win, then a tie. You don't have a loss yet. I know it's preseason and it doesn't count, but it's so refreshing to see positive signs, man. All we gotta do is stay away from the injury bug and then continue to keep going forward.
Well, I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. But like I said, we're gonna find out next week when we play Pittsburgh, last preseason game of the season. Got the Steelers. Um, we're gonna see a little bit more of the starters in this game because they got to get into a rhythm. Because once that third preseason game is over, we got the season coming up. We got Carolina, baby. we got Carolina coming up. So, and it's
I hope we
I'm
smoke them
excited
too.
as hell.
I mean,
Man,
I
we're gonna
feel good.
smoke
I
them.
mean, yeah, I feel good about that Carolina thing. For what I seen earlier, it just didn't look. It looked like they got some work to do over there.
Man, them boys flat as a soda without suds, man. Come on now.
I mean, I'm trying to keep it tasteful, man. I'm trying not to step out the box and say
Oh,
nothing
I didn't
crazy.
say no. I know you ain't stepping out the box. What you did, hey, I know you just Trey Younged it right now. I'm gonna go ahead and give you this here. You threw it up like Trey Young or whatever. I came in there like Jalen Johnson with the one hand and just jumped over everybody just now. You know,
All
hey, I'm
right.
not gonna lie to you, ladies and gentlemen. Clutch is a heck of a point guard. Ooh, I had to catch myself. It's late. But Clutch is a heck of a point guard. When he sit there and he lob it up, you got to catch it though. But he'll sit there, he'll toss it up and just look away. That's one of the best to do it, man. So I love how you set it up.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Appreciate it,
Got
man.
to. But getting to it though, I really believe next week, we see a little bit more from these starters. We're gonna see what's gonna happen with the starters and what they're gonna bring to the table. And like I said, we get to see a little bit more Ritter. Let him bounce back because that pass, that DB was hanging all over that receiver's back. Even before the ball got. Not gonna make an excuse because guess what? It went down as an interception. Doesn't matter. Regardless of what we say, it should have been a penalty. We know this, but guess what? You're seeing that you can't leave the game in the hands of the refs because we're seeing what's going on with the referees right now. D'Angelo Malone got off the field and they called a penalty, tried to say too many men on the field till they looked and said, he was off the field. So we're gonna be battling with that all year.
Yeah, we definitely will. I mean, you guys, like I said, the game today, Ritter, I feel like they should let him play at least one more series because he still has a little bit, some rush to work off. Because I feel like on that drive, he could have scored, on that drive. But it just, but like I said, the coach sees a lot in practice that we don't see. So I feel like he don't want to just tip the hat to, the Panthers, to anybody in the division, anybody in the NFL. We got some serious stuff we finna unpackage, man. We finna really just blow the league away right now. I just got a feeling.
So I got a little something that we're gonna close out the show with because, like I said, we get into that time or whatnot, that good hour, because we'll be able to chop it up. Because next week, just letting you guys know what we're getting ready to start doing. We're getting ready to start trying to move our interviews over to Wednesday. So we're gonna try to have the interviews on Wednesday night. If you can't catch it live, catch it on the playback. We have an SEC basketball legend coming through, and Mr. Phil Cox next Wednesday. We had to reschedule with the Olympic legend, Mr. Bob Beeman, who was supposed to come on Thursday, but we might have something. We might have something else in store that might be a little beneficial to everybody too. Y'all might like this one, but I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm keeping that under wraps. I ain't even tell the crew yet. But getting to it, I gotta pop this out or whatnot because it was a defensive game, even though they gave it up at the end. It was solid for majority of the game. But it's flashback Friday, ladies and gentlemen. I'm taking it back to the old school McDonald's 1980 glasses. You got Captain Crazy, Fulton Kuykendall, you have Joel Williams, and you have Buddy Curry. That is an old school linebacking core. They don't make these anymore. This came out back in 1980 from McDonald's. Old school classic Falcons glass. I had to break that out of the vault for you guys tonight. So we're talking defense or whatnot. That right there is just a small piece of that Grits Blitz defense. I don't think we're gonna be called the Grits Blitz because we got to come up with our own name. And I really believe that it's gonna be what it is. When we finally find it, it's gonna stick. But I'm sticking with Sack Lamb. That's what I'm calling it. SAK Lamb. So you already know how we getting down, baby. The man, the myth, the legend, Killian K. Dub Worthy, better known as Clutch. We're gonna be signing out, and we appreciate you for stepping on
Yes,
Artavius
sir,
D,
man.
my brother.
Appreciate y'all,
Always a
Octavius,
pleasure.
man.
Hey man, y'all fellas have a good night, bro.
Most
For
definitely.
sure.
So it'll be a little bit more live next week because right now it's late. Everybody getting ready to crash. It was a late game. So hey, but I'll take the tie over the loss. So y'all boys be easy. Much love and thank you guys for joining us on this late edition. We'll probably end up getting some viewers. Make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button before you log off or when you log on. Check out that like and subscribe button. We definitely, definitely appreciate it. We love you. Y'all be easy. We'll see you next week. Y'all stay safe and y'all keep it pushing. Peace.
Peace.